Am I the a-hole for refusing to give up my extra seat for someone else's toddler on a flight that I paid for because I'm fat? Hey Reddit, need your judgment on something that happened during my flight. It's a bit of a saga, so buckle up. Speaking of buckling up, I need 2 seatbelts because I'm very obese. I'm a female, 34, and I've been on this weight loss journey for what feels like forever. Made some progress, but let's just say I'm not exactly where I want to be yet. Anyways, I'm heading over to spend Christmas with my brother and his wife. Love them to bits, but traveling while fat. It's a nightmare. I'm not afraid to admit it. You get those tiny seats and everyone's silently judging you. It's like, hello. Yes. I exist. Sorry for inconveniencing you with my body. So, I booked an extra seat because I value my comfort and sanity. It's expensive, but what can you do? I avoid Southwest Airlines like the plague, had some bad experiences there, even before the weight gain. The day of my flight starts off surprisingly smooth. Check-in, security, lunch, because I hate airplane food, but I still eat it though. I get to my row, and there's this empty seat next to me. My little island of personal space. Bliss, right? Wrong. This woman comes up with her Cheeto finger toddler, who's about 2 years old. She just tells me, not asks, tells me to squish into one seat so her kid can sit in the other. I'm like, excuse me? I tell her, sorry, but I paid for both these seats. I even show her my boarding passes because, you know, proof. But she's not having any of it. Makes a big fuss, knocks over my soda, enough to grab the flight attendant's attention. Tells her I'm stealing her son's seat. I'm sitting there, feeling all these eyes on me, and I show my passes again to the attendant. I'm like, look, I paid for this extra space. The attendant gives me this look, you know, kind of sympathetic but also like she's in a tight spot. She asks if I could just try to fit into one seat. And I'm thinking, are you serious? It's not just about comfort. It's about dignity. So I stand my ground and say, no, I need this space. The attendant tells the woman that her kid needs to sit on her lap. That's the policy. The woman sits down, but she's shooting me these dirty looks the whole flight. Her kid's all over the place, and I feel a bit bad for him, but I also paid for this. Why should I be uncomfortable? So, here's where I need your take. Ada for refusing to give up the extra seat I paid for. Should I have just crammed myself into one seat for this kid? I've been turning this over in my head, and I can't decide if I was being reasonable or just selfish. Should I lose more weight? Looking forward to your thoughts. Continuing from my last post, since people wanted more info on what happened. The situation on the flight just escalated from there. So there I am, trying to keep to myself, and she leans over and says, you really need to be more considerate. Then I overheard her son call me a stinky hippo that was the icing on the cake. Can you believe it? I'm all for being polite, but this was too much. I told her, I bought this seat because I need it. It's not about not being considerate. It's about my comfort too. I mean, why is it always on us, the bigger people, to accommodate everyone else? She rolled her eyes and said something like, well, maybe if you took better care of yourself. That really got me. I'm so tired of people thinking they can comment on my body. Why can't you mind your own business? I shot back. My body, my business, my seat and my soda. I don't owe you or anyone else an explanation or an apology for my size. My heart was pounding at this point. I'm not usually confrontational, but enough is enough. The flight attendant came over again, probably because we were getting loud. She tried to calm things down, but honestly, it was like opening a shaken soda. The damage was done. The woman finally turned away, muttering under her breath. Her kid looked so uncomfortable the whole time, but what could I do? The rest of the flight was super awkward. I just put in my headphones and tried to drown it all out. I kept dreaming about seeing my family and having a nice home-cooked meal and thinking, am I the bad guy here? But then, why should I feel bad? I paid for my seats. I wasn't rude or anything. It's not my fault the airline's seating is a nightmare for anyone above a size 14. I'm just trying to get to where I'm going. Landing couldn't come soon enough. I tell you. As soon as we touched down, I practically bolted off that plane. The whole experience left me feeling rattled. It's like, no matter what you do, someone's always got a problem with it. So, that's the update. I stood up for myself. Which felt good. But the whole thing was just so draining. Was I the asshole for not giving up my seat? I'm still not sure. I mean, I get that flying with kids is hard, but I have the right to be comfortable too. Right? What would you have done in my shoes? Thanks for letting me vent. It's been one of those days where you just need to get it all out, you know. I've been stress eating more often because of it and set me back on my goals. I'll make an update soon on what happened when I got my checked luggage. Hey again, it's me, the gal from the plane experience. Got an update for all that asked about what happened after. Just sit back, relax and grab some ice cream or something. So, after that whole mess on the flight, I was just done. Emotionally French fried. I grabbed my bag from the overhead and couldn't wait to get off that plane. All I was thinking about was getting to my brother's place, having a king-sized vanilla ice cream, and just forgetting the whole thing. But life had a different plan. I'm at baggage claim, standing there waiting for my suitcase, and guess who shows up right next to me? Yep, the same lady from the flight. I braced myself, thinking, here we go again. But she surprised me. She looked different. Not as angry. More like embarrassed. She took a deep breath and actually apologized. I'm sorry about earlier, she said. It was a rough day, and I took it out on you. That wasn't fair. I was taken aback. I mean, after all that drama in the air, I didn't expect her to come around. I kinda just stared for a sec because I was thinking about that ice cream, but then I said, it's okay. We all have bad days, maybe you were just hungry. And it's true, right? We all need a little snack sometimes. We ended up chatting while we waited for our bags. Turns out, she was dealing with a whole lot, a single mom, juggling work and her kid, plus some family issues. I shared a bit about my struggles, the whole weight thing, and why I needed the extra seat. It was weirdly nice to just talk, human to human. By the time our bags came around, it felt like we'd cleared the air. She even helped me with my suitcase, which was kind of heavy, but not heavier than me. We said goodbye, and she gave me this grateful smile. It was nice. You know, like, we'd both just seen each other as people, not problems. So, I left the airport feeling a whole lot lighter, emotionally, I mean. The whole thing got me thinking about how quick we are to judge, to get defensive. But sometimes, just sometimes, people surprise you. I made it to my brother's place, and let me tell you, it was the warm welcome I needed. They listened to my whole story, and we had a good talk about it. My brother, he's always been a sweetheart. He said something like, you stood your ground, and that's what matters. His wife, always the wise one, said, and sometimes, a little understanding goes a long way. So, that was my update. It turned out way different than I expected. I guess the moral of the story is, don't write off a bad first impression. People can surprise you. And standing up for yourself, it matters. It's not always easy, but it's worth it. As for the whole Ida question, I think life's too short and too complicated for simple answers. We're all just trying to do our best, you know. And sometimes, a bit of kindness can turn a bad day around. Thanks for all your advice and support. I'm glad I shared it with you all. Signing off, the Not the Asshole Plane Lady.